If you are an empath like me, who has a tendency to absorb or match other people's energy, the election period is probably one of the worst time of your life. Even if you are someone who doesn't read the news or discuss politics, people around you do, and they can affect your mood easily. I remember way back in 2020 when Singapore had a general election. My late dad was watching all the news and commentary from the social media, and he was getting rather agitated. And during that time, it was a COVID period. We are encouraged to stay at home. If not, I would have run far away from home because my dad loves to read about the political news and I don't. So one day my dad came back home after talking with a friend about the election, and he was feeling angsty. He continued to watch video of people talking about the election on his phone with the speaker on. At the same time, he was complaining about the people in the video. I was in my room the entire time doing my stuff, but from the moment he stepped into the house, I felt this negative energy and I started feeling irritated. I initially wanted to close the door, and I regret not doing so. I thought I would be fine by just ignoring him, but that didn't work. I felt this continued desire to match his energy. So when I went out to eat dinner, we had a conflict over something very trivial. It's like some government regulation, I don't even remember. I didn't want to continue the conversation, but my dad kept provoking me and insisting that he's right. And that's when I had this full anger outburst that shocked everyone in the family. It's like, you want me to mirror your energy, I'll show it to you. The outburst only lasted for less than 10 seconds, but I cried for 2 hours non-stop after that. I cried so much that my dad had to console me and tell me it's okay, don't cry. I don't like others to be on the receiving end of my anger, because as an empath, not only can I feel my own anger, I can feel this negative energy that the other person is receiving from me. It's like I feel the hurt and the anger at the same time. The reason why I want to share this story is that all this can be prevented if we learn how to not match other people's energy. So how do we do this? First of all, be careful of what you consume. Even though my dad wasn't an empath, reading and watching negative news on a regular basis affects your mood. And what you consume isn't just limited to what you watch and read on social media. It's also the conversation you have with others and the people you surround yourself with. As much as possible, I pull myself out of groups that are constantly complaining or gloomy. You see how much more angsty my dad became after spending one afternoon with his friend just talking about politics. Nowadays, I'm really picky with who I spend time with. I will choose groups that are more uplifting and inspiring. Of course, it's not always possible, especially when you live in the same household with other people. They might introduce negative energy in your life. You can stop yourself from consuming negative news, but you can't stop others from doing so. So if you are sensitive to sound, maybe like my dad, they are playing the video loudly from the other room, you can just shut your door and listen to some nice music and create this physical barrier to protect your energy. This is something I could do because my dad wasn't talking directly to me and we're in separate rooms, but I didn't. Secondly, being aware of the moment you start to match other people's energy is important. As empath, we match other people's emotions too easily. It's almost automatic. You want to break this pattern. Try and see if you can catch yourself matching other people's emotion. Like in my example, when my dad came back home, I was conscious of his agitation and knew I was feeling agitated too. With such awareness, you can then choose how to respond to the situation. Like how I thought of shutting the door. You can choose to walk away, ground yourself, or whatever tool to protect yourself from absorbing other people's energy. The earlier you catch yourself, the better it is. If someone is in a negative vibe and you're in a positive vibe, we don't 100% match the energy immediately. It takes time. It's only when people are of the same vibe where they get attracted faster. So if you are able to catch yourself early, you can change direction and do something about it. Thirdly, awareness is not enough. You need to direct your attention away from the source and back to yourself. You need to ground yourself. The whole time I was conscious that I was matching my dad's energy, but I still did it. That's because I didn't do anything to recenter myself right at the beginning. There is a call and response. There is a call from my dad to fight, and I respond to the call, okay, let's fight. As much as I didn't want to go there, I went there even though I could see myself going there. Once there's a big momentum, it will be much harder to break the momentum. Empath's natural tendency is to focus on external energy and match the frequency. That's us in the default mode or in the autopilot mode. To break this automatic pattern, we have to do something outside of our natural habit. We have to deliberately bring our attention from outside of us back to ourselves and focus inwardly. And we have to do it before the momentum gets too huge. I don't want to use the word effort because grounding ourselves is easy. We just have to be conscious enough and practice shifting focus to disrupt our habit of being drawn by other people's energy. There are several ways of grounding yourself. What I do is to pull my aura back to arm's length. I realize when I'm in the default mode, my aura is spread very wide. In other words, my attention occupies quite a big area. This is great if you are in nature and you're enjoying the vastness of the sky or the scenery. But if you do this in your daily life, you'll find that people are constantly in your space. And when people are in your space, you match their energy more easily, not knowing whether it's your energy or theirs. To pull your aura back, you can use your imagination and imagine your attention and focus pulling back. To feel more of yourself, you can also pay attention to your body. Feeling yourself more in the body helps to get a grounded feeling. And a neat little trick I learned from the Duality course by Jeffrey Allen is you can create permission roles right at the edge of your aura. In this way, you allow others to have their energy while you stay protected in your energy. There is a break between the other person and you. The space between the roles and you is your energy, your space, while the space outside of the roles is their space, and they are allowed and have the permission to do whatever they want. I also like to imagine the roles spinning in an orbit around my aura so that any negative that comes towards me get bounced off. This is great when someone is complaining about their life to you. You don't match their energy. But before you can do all this, you need to have awareness and you need to have the intention to do something outside of your natural tendency.